Morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunshine Acres. Obviously, we are not at Sunshine Acres.
But it's sunny here.
It is. We're at beautiful Isla Mirada, Florida, middle of the Keys, at a beautiful resort for the week of Thanksgiving. So by the time you see this, Thanksgiving will be over. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you had a great holiday. Today we're looking Flashback Friday, another episode, and this will basically cover winter and spring of 2018. So we're moving right along at the property at this time. First thing we did was get the wood stove in the barn, get that cleaned up, and Miss Kara tackled this activity.
Yeah, I sanded it down and got all the rust off of it, got it all cleaned up, and used high temperature paint because the thing gets, I don't know, probably 500 degrees or more, but do a high temperature primer first and then a high temperature black top coat paint over top of that. Just used rattle cans. But by the time I was done, I looked like a coal miner. I wish we had pictures of that, but we don't. Yeah, I looked like I've been rolling around in black soot. But it turned out really good, and it looks brand new now. And got that moved into the barn, got it installed, had the chimney guys come out, get that placed, and that's been really cool to have. Jason always keeps the fire going, keep us warm.
Yeah, it looks good. Keeps us warm while we're up in the barn working. Yeah, looks fantastic. Thanks for putting in that grunt effort on that one. But I think we told you in a previous video that stove was given to us by the guy who we bought the property from and subdivided our neighborhood. So that stove's been on the property a long time, so we're happy to have it and keep it in good use.
Yep.
Also at that time, we were still kind of in acquire mode to get ready to build and get things for the property. So we just got a couple pictures here. Got our first lawnmower, so a little John Deere S240. Still have that today, runs like a champ. So we got some pictures of that.
Yeah, it's our grass crew. We were excited.
Yeah.
We got to cut grass.
It was fantastic. So that's still at least my favorite chore to do on the property. So that's nice.
We fight over who gets to do it sometimes.
I usually win. Well, we also got a stainless steel sink that we now have in our garage. That was an interesting story. Craigslist. We drove up north of Charlotte, and it was actually a little league
baseball team
that kind of held their own concession stand building, and they were going to stop doing their own concessions, so they were gutting the little building and got that. So that's a very nice sink to have in the garage, and helps in our just general garden cleanup and making beer and cleaning stuff up, and very nice. And then I think I mentioned in the last video, we got motorcycles at the end of 2017. So
yeah.
That didn't take long. I'm already on to bike number 2 by the time we're showing these pictures. So
Less than a year.
yeah, it was another Indian. It was actually a 2010 Indian Chief when they were assembling them in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. So kind of got a vintage guy. As you can tell, he doesn't last long either. We move on get another one in the near future. But I kept that for about a year, I guess.
Well, that wasn't really your fault. I mean, that was a cool bike, but it kept having issues.
Yeah, it was. They were kit bikes at the time, and if you really ride them, they're meant to be looked at, not ridden. So had to move on from that down the road. But just a couple items we got as we're kind of in, like I said, accumulation mode.
Yep.
big activities we were doing, we'll get into both these separately, but and you can probably see these in the other videos in the background some. We got a wood storage building, as well as building the porch on the garden shed. So for the wood storage building, all that was using leftover material that we purchased for the barn. We had mentioned where we had where it got moldy. We didn't want to use it, the worst pieces. Well, we ended up using up all that material for this project, or a big chunk of it. So
that was a fun project for me. I had done some building projects. We did all the shelving and tables and things like that to set up the shop in the barn, but building a real structure from the ground up was new for me, and that was a learning process. I really enjoyed doing that with Jason. He taught me a lot of things, and when it came to finishing it, since he had been allergic to the stain, that got to be my job from here on out. Staining is my job for using that stain. And we had our buddy Ray over. He's like, aren't you gonna help her? Shouldn't we go help her? I said, no, she'll be all right. No, yeah, she's got this. I'm like, all right, guys.
It felt bad, but
well, I didn't want you touching it either, because I felt bad if you got around it. So I'm like, no, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. But it turned out good. I'm very happy with it, and it's been very useful for us.
Yeah, we actually stacked lumber that we had milled. We'll show that later, but ideally long term is just for firewood. We should be able to get 4 to 5 full cords of firewood in there. So for everything we burn for ourselves, that it should be plenty for that.
Yeah.
Other big item we had during this time was building the front porch on the garden shed. So you can see in the pictures before, and we put one on the front end. It was very functional, but it's kind of plain looking.
You could see the blocks underneath it, so it looked a little janky in that regard. It just looked unfinished, I guess. It was cute, but it needed a little dressing up. So.
Yep, I put a little lipstick on it. So we worked on, both these projects were, multiple weekends, and they overlapped a little bit, but it took a good bit of time. So this went up through like May of 2018, something like that, or maybe even close to June. But I think the porch looks really good. Nice bright white finish on it, and
lattice around the bottom to hide the block, and just it looks really cute now.
So at this point we had grass growing, the barn's done, we're getting little outbuildings and structures.
Mm-hmm.
The place really started looking like it was coming together.
Just need a house.
that was about it. We got a couple other pictures. Had a little lamb stew for Easter. Some other random pictures around the property at the time, but that'll be it. And next episode, we'll be getting into summer of 2018, and we'll go from there. Like I said, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. We'll be actually back at Sunshine Acres. Probably gonna be a little colder there. Probably have a little more clothes on, a little less beach and sunshine. But
That's okay.
have a great day.